So is Kraven really as bad as everyone says it is? I had to find out for myself. But I'm here to say Kraven really isn't that bad when compared to the other absolute diabolical superhero movies. I mean, I think it's better than Madame Web. I'm just gonna put it out there. Madame Web was just an absolute dog shit, mate. I could never watch that again. Same with Morbius, but at least with Kraven, it was somewhat engaging. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that it was good. It wasn't good. It was still pretty bad. But I feel like a lot of people have been shitting on this movie, rightfully so. It's not very good, but I feel like it might be a bit overhyped. I mean, I feel like it is the in thing to hate on Marvel at the moment, regardless whether it's Sony or Disney. Although the movie quality has been pretty poor. This movie is not anywhere near the worst movie of the year, and I have to question anybody that says it is. Is there fun aspects to it? Yes. Is there a lot of shit to it? Yes. And I think this is the last Sony Marvel movie. Good riddance, to be honest. Ever since Spider-Man, they've kind of dropped off. I don't really think they've released anything good since then. I like the Venom movies, to be fair. Not Venom 2, actually. Venom 1, I like. Venom 3 is okay. Venom 2 is shit. Madame Web and Morbius both dog shit. To be fair, the final nail in the coffin was definitely the Madame Web movie because that was horrible. And with Craven, I feel like it was kind of doomed because when you combine the fact that Madame Web was so bad with the fact that Craven was meant to come out in summer last year, they delayed it a whole year and a half, and the casting isn't very exciting. You know what I mean? It was kind of just made to be a flop. And 2024, all in all, has been a pretty shit year. I thought 2023 wasn't the best year, although we did get some very, very good movies. There was a lot of trash. 2024, we've literally got like maybe 4 or 5 movies that are decent, not even really good, and then we've got like a bunch of shit. And Craven, I guess Craven is not the shittest of the shits, but it's still pretty bad. Anyway, let's talk about the movie in general. I'm gonna start off with the main character, Craven, Aaron Taylor Johnson. I'm sick and tired of this brother. Why is he in everything? It's same thing with Pedro Pascal. Stop just shoving the same actors in everything. He was good in Bullet Train. I liked him in Bullet Train. Perfect for the role. They've shoved him in what's it called? The Fall Guy. Not a great movie. He kind of just played the dimwit. He was like a side character. They've put him in like Nosferatu. I haven't seen it yet. It's coming out in the UK in January, I believe. And now he's going to be in 28 years later. Like, brother, they keep just shoving who they think is the hottest prospect right now that the fans kind of like. They just put them in everything. Pedro Pascal in everything. Fantastic Four, Last of Us. Obviously, he was really good in Game of Thrones, and then they just shove him in it. Why not? Sydney Sweeney's another one last year. How many movies was she in? And now I feel like the hype for her has kind of died down because you're not picking the right actors for the role. You're just trying to pick big actors, and people don't really go and watch movies for big actors. But yeah, in terms of Aaron Taylor Johnson as Craven, it wasn't the best. He didn't really encapsulate Craven, considering Craven's meant to be Russian, and his accent went from everything from some of that dog shit fake Russian accents that they love to do. That if you if you've ever watched what's it, not Scarlet Witch, was it Black Widow, where they do those dog shit fake accents? He does that for a bit. He goes between British and American, and it's really weird. I hate when they can't just stick to an accent. Just let him speak in his regular voice if he can't do it. Russell Crowe, for every bit of stick I've given him for being in some shit movies in the last few years, probably because he's broke. There's no other reason he would go in to do these shit horror movies, but yo, at least his accent was consistent throughout the whole movie, man. And then you have the same guy who's in Gladiator, like I don't know, the gay syphilis emperor, like the one who has the monkey. He's in this, and he plays like the brother who's I guess gay in this as well. I don't know. Bit weird, kind of a side character, and then he has a weird twist villain arc at the end. Honestly, there's going to be some spoilers going forward. But yeah, in terms of the story, I mean, it's not really great. They don't really set it up. Like, Craven's mom is dead. They don't really allude to why she's dead. They kind of just like, oh, she was crazy. She killed herself. But then they say, oh, the dad was the reason she killed herself. The dad's meant to be some gangster, but they don't really ever show him doing anything bad. He's just kind of there, being kind of abusive to his kids. And then you have them go on a hunting trip. He gets attacked by a lion, gets some special potion like Black Panther, and then suddenly he's got superpowers. And that leads me to Calypso, one of the most pointless characters I've ever seen in a movie. She literally serves no purpose in this except to have a female in the movie. I literally think they've tried to ham fist this character in there, tried to like maybe she's important to the actual Craven story. I don't know, and I don't care because I'm not gonna read no Craven comics. But she's just a waste of a character. Her dialogue is shit. She's just there. She comes at the end of the movie and kills one of the characters. Like, okay, yeah. The villain, the Rhino, I actually kind of like the actor. I think the actor did a decent job with the Rhino, but I don't think the Rhino is represented as he should be. Isn't the Rhino meant to be in some kind of metal suit? And the reason he's the Rhino is because he's fused with the suit and he can never take it off. And I know he has a disease, and in this he also has a disease, but it's kind of weird the way they did that. And it kind of just gets back to the point. Why do we keep making Spider-Man movies without Spider-Man in it? Like, I understand they probably wanted to do some kind of Spider-Man cinematic universe, but wouldn't it have just been better to make a Spider-Man movie and have Rhino, Kraven, and the, what was he called, the Foreigner, whatever that fucking teleporting guy is, as villains? I mean, you did it in Spider-Man 3 where you had multiple villains. It wasn't my favorite, but it can work. I guess then who do you bring in? Do you bring Andrew Garfield? Do you bring in Tobey Maguire? Probably Tobey Maguire, but he's a bit older, you know? It just feels like the only one of the Sony franchises that could stand on its own 2 feet is Venom, and they kind of just made it a mockery. Like, they're not the best movies. I think they're fun, but they're not great. So I don't understand why they persisted in making these shitty Spider-Man movies with characters nobody cares about, because inevitably you're going to have shitty box office returns when you do that. In terms of the dialogue in this movie, is horrible, similar to My Damn Web. You might as well not speak. Like, who wrote the script? Fire them immediately. It's horrible, bruv. Like, I don't know what's going on. The movie starts off alright. It's somewhat engaging for the first like half an hour. Then it starts to get really boring because, again, I don't know what the production was like on this, whether they had to do a lot of reshoots or whatever, but again, fucking dog shit, mate. Like, why did we get to the middle of the movie and it feels like we haven't moved anywhere, you know? I spoke about Calypso briefly. She's a lawyer. Why does she have like this weird unlimited contacts and she can just talk to all these weird underworld people? Like, it feels like another plot hole. Kind of weird. The Foreigner is in there again, but why did they have him in there? It's stupid. Why didn't they just let the Rhino fight Kraven? And I guess they made the Rhino the way they did because they didn't want to spend the budget to give him a suit and make him proper, so they just gave him a skin disease. And they didn't want him to transform too much because maybe it took too much CGI or makeup budget. Who the hell knows? But I think it would have been cooler if Rhino was actually was more in the movie, because he's probably the best character in my opinion in the movie. As I said before, would have been way cooler if this was a Spider-Man movie. I mean, we saw, like, I think it's at the end of the second Andrew Garfield movie, they have him fighting the Rhino, and obviously it's the real Rhino because he's a metal fucking suit. Would have been cooler that way. There's a whole scene with him fighting a snow leopard, which is so stupid. Like, what on earth is going on there again? And yeah, I guess there's a scene where like a buffalo impales somebody. That was pretty funny. But yeah, all in all, this movie is not very good. Would I recommend you see it? No. You might as well wait till it comes to whatever streaming platform Sony Marvel movies come to. Some of them are on Disney. Some of them are here, there, and everywhere. But is this movie worth wasting your time and money for? Definitely not. Hopefully going into the new year, the superhero movies kind of pick up. I know Marvel's kind of going with their next phase. And, you know, Deadpool and Wolverine was great. I really enjoyed that movie that came out this year. But obviously we've got Captain America early next year. And there's Thunderbolts, I think. I mean, I have no faith for either of those movies. But yeah, that's all I got for you today. What I rate this out of 10? Solid 4.5, maybe a 5. I'd probably watch it again because it's kind of wacky and I think it's kind of funny. But yeah, all in all, not great. I'll see you all in the next one.